Thank you, everybody, and thanks as always to our viewing audience at home. Welcome back to another episode of the IB Film Show. I am your host, David Shotwell, and I'm here today with yet another young, talented filmmaking crew. We're here with JBM Productions today to discuss their newest picture, The Alien, and it's my pleasure to introduce the picture's cinematographer, Jack Cashman.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sound design on this picture handled by Bridget Downing.
Thank you.
And our editor on this production, Molly Price. Hi, thanks for joining us, guys. How are you? Thanks for coming. Good to see you again. Always a pleasure to have you here. So I wanted to start with a general question about the sort of substantive meaning behind this film. On the surface, it's a chase scene. It's very exciting. But I know after having watched it a few times that there is some sort of substantive thematic meaning, a message about society or something deeper that you guys are trying to put forward in this film. Could you discuss a little bit what this film is really about?
Yeah, it's definitely about society. I think like the chase scene that we did specifically, the alien, it was kind of about communicating this idea of a person who kind of doesn't really fit the typical demographic or kind of isn't what the student that's chasing after it usually knows. And I think it's a commentary on like our human conditions, like innate desire to like go against and kind of disagree with like things that we don't know or understand.
To fear the other, right?
Yeah.
And retaliate against that.
But over time, you know, the characters learn, you know, how similar they really are, despite their outward differences.
Yeah, a real, to I guess oversimplify, a real happy ending, so to speak, in this one. And I think something substantive in here about tolerance and understanding, which I quite enjoyed. Jack, to start with you before we go down the line, you handled the cinematography on this picture. What were some of your specific inspirations for how you decided to shoot this film and use the camera as you constructed it?
Well, some of the inspirations that we used, specifically for the idea of an alien, we took from E.T. That also, you know, parallels a lot of this idea of like immediately going and like not understanding, specifically with aliens as the metaphor.
Yeah.
We also looked at Ferris Bueller's Day Off for some of our fourth wall breaking elements, and also for its chase scene itself. It just has a really good pacing and kind of tone that we tried to also implement. And additionally, right before we worked on like the storyboarding process, I had watched the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
One of my favorites.
Definitely. Really good movie. And I feel like that movie kind of used its cinematography in a lot of scenes to communicate this feeling of like not knowing what's going on and being confused. And I also tried to use that in a lot of ways. Interesting.
I think that in particular shows through in the cinematography. Bridget, sound design for this picture, which I was very excited to see how this was going to turn out, and I was in no way underwhelmed. It was very impressive.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about specifically you handled the music composition as well on this project. Can you talk a little bit about some of the software that you used to put together the soundtrack for the film?
Yeah, of course. So this was my first time being the sound designer, so I needed to find a program that was very easy to use so I could figure it out quickly. So I settled on this Chrome Music Maker, where I was able to like input notes and then listen to it back and it'd play it for me. And I was also like able to pick the instrument that I wanted, or I could change the tempo. So to create the music that we see in the film, my process was just like putting in notes and listening back and forth and changing like until I liked how it sounded. So I created like 2 different versions in the end and picked one. So so far I think everyone's liked it, so hopefully everyone likes it.
Yeah, I think it was a success, and it's pretty cool that you designed 2 more or less finished versions of the soundtrack and then kind of made a final choice based, I'm assuming, on some collaboration with your group as well.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Molly, editing, which I know on this picture you carried a specifically sort of heavy weight, because by the time post-production came around, you guys were a little bit behind schedule with the production, and a lot of the catching up fell on your shoulders. So how did you do it? I mean, what did you do to get the editing done and get this picture in before the deadline?
I like to think I work better under pressure anyway, so in my case it was actually helpful for me to have a time limit, even if it only was a couple days worth of editing that I had to do. we had a lot of editing. We had like a week's worth of editing that I had to compress into 2 days, which most of it I actually did at home, which was interesting because I was at home last year for remote for
Right.
COVID, and I had worked with iMovie and TikTok, and now I
Right, you
made
have
the
quite a
big
bit of
jump.
experience
Yes.
editing on your
I
own
made
at
the
home.
big jump to Adobe, which was difficult at first, but after I messed around with it a little, I figured out the techniques, and I was pretty proud of how it came out, even if it was all jumbled into one big work.
Especially considering the stakes and the pressure. Quite impressive. Quite impressive. All right, great. Well, without any further ado, shall we take a look at the picture?
Yes.
All right, great. So, JBM Productions, The Alien. We hope you enjoy.
Oh no! Wait for me! God damn it! Why do they always leave me behind every time? What did I do wrong? What am I gonna do now?
Hayes for horses, who the hell are you? Actually, I don't care what your name is. I'm gonna kill you.
What's that over there?
I know you're in here somewhere.
No, I'm not.
Won't mind if I turn on the light?
Wow, this film looks really good so far.
Oh yeah, super cool.
My favorite part is,
Did I ask?
then shut up. Okay, let's just go back to watching. I'm just gonna skip ahead to the part where they're outside though. This scene's boring. Something about running for your life really puts a pep in your step.
You know, we have a lot more in common than I initially thought.
Thank you. And thanks again to our filmmakers for coming into the studio today. Always a pleasure. And thanks, as always, to our viewing audience at home. This has been another edition of the IB Film Show. We'll see you next time, everybody. Nice job. Nice job. That was great.